Years old. My grandpa sits me down to have a serious talk. He asks me about my girlfriend. I remind him I'm 7 years old. Girls still frighten me. He laughs like he's surprised, and then goes off about how Jackie Chan is the greatest actor who ever lived. I loved these conversations. Just my grandpa and I, even when I didn't fully understand him. He was laughter in a silent room, a mustard stain on a brand new shirt, and he often told me he was a proud Mexican man with white grandchildren. He tried to teach me Spanish words. He told me when I speak in Spanish, I carry pieces of him on my tongue, but my mouth could never quite mimic his, so I never learned how to pronounce his name. I promised him I would practice, though I never did. I was too embarrassed. No one at my school spoke the way he did. And my father only used his Spanish tongue in other countries. Years later, my grandpa asked me why I still haven't learned the pronunciation of our history. Somehow, I couldn't find the English to explain it. He tells me I'm not really Mexican and then laughs like he didn't just deny we're related, like he didn't give me his last name, but secretly, I think he's right. I think back on all the Spanish classes I barely passed, all the practice conversations I choked up in as my dyslexic tongue stumbled and stutters over Spanish syllables. The native words always formed like tumors on the inside of my throat, so I amputated them from my vocabulary and pretended like it wasn't cutting out the pieces of myself that resemble my grandfather. But I always reassured myself that someday I would learn. That someday I would love my grandpa in the language he deserved to be loved in, but I never did. And about a year ago, my grandfather had a stroke that left him completely unable to form words. He tries, but he chokes on the letters like shards of glass, stammering out sounds that vaguely resemble our tongue, his mouth, a coffin shaped like his grandchildren's language. I see the frustration in his face as he struggles to explain even the simplest of things. I am hungry, sounds like I hate it here, sounds like I've missed you, and all of it sounds like silence. My family crowds around his bed, helpless, watching him struggle like a butterfly on its back. He sees me walk in the door, but can no longer pronounce my name. Now the only language we share is a brief, silent touch every other weekend. There are so many things I never got to ask you. What was the color of your mother's hands? Did you marry a woman named Grace because you knew she would always bless you? And I don't even know where in Mexico our family is from. But none of that matters anymore. I just wish I took the time to love you correctly. Grandpa, I can feel you slipping away, but I will not lose all of you. Yo aprenderé nos lengua mi abuelo. I will learn our language, Grandpa, if only to be able to speak with you again.